Hello everyone. Today we will explore some of the most fundamental concepts in economics: the market, the demand, and the various factors that influence how consumers behave within that market. These ideas form the foundation for understanding how prices are determined and how businesses and consumers interact daily. Let's begin with the concept of a market. A market is any structure or system that allows buyers and sellers to exchange goods, services, or resources. This exchange doesn't have to occur in a physical space. It can also happen online or through other forms of communication. For example, the stock exchange represents a financial market where investors trade shares, while an online store such as Amazon creates a digital market for millions of products. What's important is that the market provides a setting where voluntary exchanges can take place. Within this market, we observe the concept of demand. Demand refers to the willingness, desire, and ability of consumers to purchase goods or services at different price levels during a specific period. It's not enough for consumers merely to want something, they must also have the means and readiness to pay for it. For instance, many people might desire luxury cars, but only those who can afford them and are willing to spend that amount of money actually contribute to the demand for such cars. Closely related to this is the quantity demanded, which refers to the specific amount of a good that consumers are willing and able to buy at a particular price. If, for example, a coffee shop charges $4 per cup and consumers purchase 200 cups a day, the quantity demanded at that price is 200 cups. When the price changes, the quantity demanded typically changes as well. This relationship brings us to the law of demand, one of the most fundamental principles in economics. The law of demand states that, all else being equal, as the price of a good decreases, the quantity demanded increases, and as the price increases, the quantity demanded decreases. In other words, price and quantity demanded move in opposite directions. A simple example is movie tickets. When ticket prices drop from $12 to $8, more people choose to go to the cinema, demonstrating this inverse relationship. However, not all changes in consumer purchases are caused by price changes. Sometimes consumers buy more or less of a product at all price levels because of other factors. This is called a change in demand. For example, if new research shows that green tea has significant health benefits, people may start buying more of it at all prices, a clear increase in demand. One key factor that can lead to a change in demand is the price of related goods or services. Goods can be related in two main ways, as substitutes or as complements. Substitute goods are those that can replace each other. When the price of one rises, the demand for its substitute usually increases. For instance, if the price of butter increases significantly, consumers might buy more margarine instead, since both serve the same purpose. In contrast, complement goods are products that are used together, so a change in the demand or price of one affects the other in the same direction. A good example is printers and ink cartridges. When the price of printers decreases, more people buy printers, and consequently, demand for ink also rises. Another important determinant of demand is changes in income. When people's incomes rise, their purchasing power increases, allowing them to buy more goods and services. However, the effect of income on demand depends on the type of good in question. For normal goods, demand increases as income increases. For example, as individuals earn higher salaries, they might purchase more organic food, travel more often, or dine at upscale restaurants. On the other hand, inferior goods experience the opposite effect. Their demand decreases as income rises because consumers can now afford better alternatives. Instant noodles are a common example. When incomes rise, people tend to replace them with fresher, higher quality meals. Next, we have changes in tastes or preferences. Consumer tastes can shift over time due to fashion trends, advertising, cultural influences, or changes in values. Such shifts can significantly alter demand. For example, as environmental awareness grows, More consumers are choosing electric vehicles and reusable products, increasing demand for sustainable alternatives. Another factor is changes in expectations. If consumers expect future prices to rise, they often increase current purchases to avoid paying more later. Similarly, if they anticipate an income increase, they may begin spending more now. For instance, if people believe that gasoline prices will rise next month, many will fill their tanks more frequently in the present, temporarily boosting current demand. We also consider changes in the number of consumers in the market. When the number of consumers increases, total market demand expands. If a new university opens in a city, the demand for housing, restaurants, and transportation services in that area rises because of the influx of students. Conversely, if people move away from a region, demand for local goods and services tends to fall. Finally, it is useful to distinguish between individual demand and market demand. Individual demand refers to the quantity of a good or service that a single consumer is willing and able to buy at different prices. Market demand, in contrast, represents the total quantity demanded by all consumers in the market. For instance, if one customer buys 1 cup of coffee each day at $4, that is individual demand. The total number of cups purchased by all customers at that price reflects market demand. In conclusion, understanding these concepts allows us to interpret how consumers make decisions and how markets function. Demand is not a fixed quantity. It constantly responds to changes in price, income, preferences, and expectations.